From an Easter egg you could only find one day of the year to a secret that'll give you nightmares, these are 22 Halloween Easter eggs in video games. It is officially the spooky season, and the last game you're gonna boot up is probably Goat Simulator 3, but hear me out and head into these sewers. Once you follow the tunnel all the way down, you'll find Pennywise himself dancing. It's easy to be scared of this guy, but turns out if you attack him, he's more afraid of you.
Scary ghost.
When it comes to crossovers, you might think of Fortnite, but if you rewind the clock back to COD Ghost, they had a secret Halloween Easter egg with a familiar villain. On the fog map, once you call in a field order, it'll give you a chance to become Michael Myers. It plays iconic music, changes your outfit, and now you can go around taking out players with an axe. Over at Payday 2, this game is full of weapons that parody franchises, but if you get past level 30 and follow their community group, you'll earn a secret Halloween item. The Psycho Knife, which is made by Norman Bates from Psycho, and Chucky. These two villains are infamous for wielding a kitchen knife, and they even threw in an incredible secret when you attack with it. Now we've seen Michael Myers, Norman Bates, and Chucky, but there's someone missing, arguably more popular than all of them, and he's hiding in the forest of Dead Island. Once you go super far into the wild, you'll eventually come across a cabin with dead people all around. Okay, a little terrifying, but then Jason Voorhees comes out of nowhere.
We got some fresh meat out there!
Once you enter the cabin, they even have his dead mom from the movies. And of course, to reward you for your trouble, here is a free chainsaw. There's also an enemy in Layers of Fear who only shows up one day every year. Look, you're watching a Halloween video, it's pretty obvious what day that is. So yeah, boot it up on the 31st, and a secret room will unlock revealing a Ouija board with tons of Easter eggs. But use it to spell the word God, and you'll be immediately punished by Cthulhu. One of my personal favorites is Arkham Knight's terrifying jump scare for anyone who dares to play on Halloween. Throughout the game, you could come across Man-Bat, and if you found this guy, you'll know how scary he is.
There we go.
Dude. What the?
Eventually, you send him to prison, which you would think was the end of the story, but on October 31st, you'll be minding your own business until... And once you check his prison cell, he is long gone, with the guard saying,
No way we're gonna stop that day. Happy Halloween, huh?
Sunset Overdrive probably wins the award for the best respawn animations in a video game. It's full of movie references, including my personal favorite. Any horror movie fan will appreciate that reference to The Ring. Now there is one classic 80s villain that we haven't seen yet, and that's because he's hiding in Splatterhouse. As you explore the map, you can find a room with a brown hat, striped shirt, and bladed hands. Yeah, it's totally Freddy Krueger, and I wonder if that's him in the card. If so, it looks like a painful way to go out. Freddy isn't the only one who gives you the feeling of being watched. In Far Cry 5, you can find a locked haunted house that's super unsettling. Once you turn on the power, there's someone across the way just staring at you. If you decide to investigate, no one's there except a red balloon and a phone. Obviously a not so subtle reference to it, and the same can be said for an Easter egg in Layers of Fear 2. As you explore the game, the carpet starts to reveal itself, along with the ghostly figure of a little boy on a tricycle, and if that doesn't give it away, just turn the corner. I guess the developers are big fans of The Shining. I mean, who isn't? One of the most beloved dev teams is Insomniac, who always listens to their community. When Spider-Man PS4 was announced, Greg Miller from Kind of Funny was bouncing off the walls. Massive fan of Spider-Man, and even has his own character who's shirtless. He gave fake press conferences leading up to the release and begged Insomniac to put him in the game as an Easter egg. Well, at one point in the story, Halloween arrives and everyone's dressed up in costumes, especially this guy who you'll recognize as Greg Shirtless Spider-Man.
Check out my moves!
For those in a spooky mood, Borderlands 2 has an entire level dedicated to the holiday, and it's full of secrets. My favorite one is hidden all the way in the forest, where you'll come across a seemingly random TV. If you're confused, it's pretty easy to miss, but this is Borderlands' version of Blair Witch's apology scene.
I just want to apologize, and I'm sorry to everyone.
Sometimes subtle is better, and that's why Splitgate has an incredible Easter egg hidden in plain sight. On the Helix map, there's a section with a ton of prison cells, but peek through the window of door number 4, and Hannibal Lecter's asylum mask is staring right back at ya. One of my favorite games to play during the Halloween season is GTA Online. Looking past the walls of microtransactions, their events are actually incredible. One year you'd log in and find yourself being chased in free roam by slashers. They would stalk you in ghost cars, trying to murder you by any means possible. Whether it was a clown, an undead racing driver, or a Leatherface parody, you couldn't stop looking over your shoulder. A cult classic horror that you never really see mentioned is Poltergeist, but clearly Bethesda are fans of this movie, because in Skyrim, you could enter an abandoned house and find a weird stack of chairs. Of course, this is a direct scene from Poltergeist. It explains why this place was abandoned. And so is the maze in 1997's Blood. This retro FPS is up there with games like Doom and Quake with 10 times more Easter eggs. Like in the maze level where you can stumble across a person. It seems random, but it's actually the body of Jack Torrance from The Shining, who also froze to death in a haunted maze. If it wasn't obvious enough, as you get closer, you'll hear,
"Here's Johnny."
Here's Johnny.
Another game that's terrifying all year round is Five Nights at Freddy's, but in 2015, Scott updated the first 3 titles with a secret that could only be seen on Halloween. If you play 2 or 3 on October 31st, a pumpkin appears on your desk, but in the original, it's actually a watermelon. Either Mike was too broke to afford a real pumpkin, or this is a nod to Gravity Falls. In the show, they love Halloween so much they celebrate it twice a year, with Summerween using jack-o'-melons instead of lanterns. A more modern secret is in Fallout 76. Bethesda sure loves hiding Easter eggs in plain sight. But if you stumbled across this chalk door in the museum, you're probably thinking nothing of it and walk past. Get closer though, and you'll find a burnt book. Putting this all together, you'll quickly realize this simple drawing is a reference to Beetlejuice's chalk door. In the film, they had to draw it and knock 3 times to enter the Neither World. The last place I expected a secret was in Stranger Things 3: The Game. For a tie-in that went under the radar, it has some amazing detail in it. This is obviously set in the 80s like the show, so when you entered the hospital, you could find patient's notes belonging to F. Kruger, who was treated for insomnia and severe nightmares. What sounds like Freddy got a taste of his own medicine. Another creepy game is Demon's Souls, the predecessor of the Dark Souls series that everyone loves today. It's unsettling on its own, so I wouldn't blame you for loading up during Halloween for extra spooks, except the developers thought of this and decided to mess with players. All of a sudden, every enemy was so much harder to defeat, but they dropped better rewards than usual. Basically, they bumped up the difficulty for everyone psycho enough to play a Souls game on Halloween night. An absolute classic is Simpsons Road Rage, a game that's now over 20 years old by the way. But even after all that time, we are still finding insane details. Like, if you play on Halloween, Bart is turned into Frankenbart and he now drives a pumpkin car. The last game you'd expect to see a Jason Voorhees reference is probably Fortnite. Around the time Battle Royale came out, the previous mode Save the World was celebrating Halloween. Included in that was a secret shrine to Jason with his hockey mask in plain sight. They also had a location on the map that was suspiciously close to the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. As for Battle Royale, it's also had its fair share of Halloween references, from an upside-down grandfather clock hinting at Vecna to the infamous red balloon from It. But I especially love the Evil Dead cabin though, which had half a dozen references to the movie. From the chainsaw, even the talking moose was there. Those are 22 Halloween Easter eggs in video games. Hope that got you excited for the rest of October. It's been Tommy, and make sure to keep it here on T5G.